All right, let's start from the Ashanti region. Now, the youth of Bodomase in the Setrafram plains of the Ashanti region are demanding the withdrawal of police and military personnel in the area. The aggrieved youth also want kingmakers in the area to resolve the protracted chieftaincy dispute, which they claim has stalled development.
On Thursday, February 16, 2017, some youth in Bodomase clashed with the police over a protracted chieftaincy dispute. About 10 residents of Bodomase were injured after the police and military fired several warning shots to disperse the rampaging youth. Very much in Akubia, who is claiming heir to the Kumeu stool, was worried about the slow pace of development as a result of the chieftaincy dispute. The youth of the area want the police and military
for this particular story, and to tell us exactly what the youth are saying is our Ashanti regional correspondent William Evans Inkum. Good evening, William, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening, Martin, and thanks so much for having me.
We know that you have been monitoring activities of the youth in Bodomase following the development that erupted earlier this week. What is the current situation in Bodomase, especially on the youth front?
Well, now I can say that calm is restored as far as Bodomase is concerned. Today there was heavy police and military presence who were just monitoring the environment to quell any possible violence. But what the youths are also saying is that the protracted chieftaincy dispute has created deep divisions among the families, talking about the royal gate, and this has also retarded development because no investor would want to come and then invest in an environment that is so volatile, and that is the current state of Bodomase or Kumaru traditional areas. So all that they are saying is that they want the kingmakers to actually address the issue. And Martin, the reality is that there is a chief, a chief who has sworn before the Asante, and so by tradition there is a chief who is to kind of rule that particular additional area. But the problem has to do with the post-installation stats, which have not been managed well, and that is why we've been seeing sporadic tensions within that particular enclave.
But William Evans, what can you tell us with regard to the youth who are saying that the police and military men should be called off or should be called back out of the township? Are they not providing the needed security?
Well, they are making reference to what happened on Thursday, and they are alleging that when the security men were deployed to ensure law and order, they took sides. They were allegedly assaulting the other gates. And so they cannot trust their neutrality as far as maintaining peace in that particular area is concerned. So they want them out, and then they are going to solve their own issues.
But with your investigation in the last few days, do you think, or can you tell whether or not the police are taking sides? Have you seen any such sign?
It will be very, very difficult for me to conclude that the police have taken sides, because we all know the role of the Ghana police or the security operatives. They are to maintain law and order. But because the case is in court, in fact, it will be very difficult for us to go into the nitty-gritties of all that happened, the genesis of it, and then how the whole thing is navigating to. But the most important thing is that in order to ensure that the environment, Bodomase environment, is actually stabilized, it is very imperative for the security to be there and also avert any possible clashes, because these are feuding families. They don't see eye to eye. Martin, if you mention Kumewu, it reminds you of the great Akubia who fought with the Asantes to, gain territories and also gain total sovereignty. But now if you are talking about Kumewu, what comes to mind is families, feuding families who have deep-rooted hatred for each other. And that is quite unfortunate. I'm sure that is the more reason why the security are there to maintain law
and order. All right, William Vansinkwe, thank you very much for speaking with us. Certainly, we'll come back to you as the days roll by to see what progress the chiefs there are making to ensure that there is relative calm, or there is absolute calm and sanity in Bodomase in the Ashanti region. We are staying in the region though because the residents of New Edubiase in the Adanse South district of the Ashanti region hit the street earlier today to demonstrate against their Queen Mother's failure to get them a chief for the past 3 years. The demonstrators argue that the absence of a chief has stalled development in the area. Here's a report by our Ashanti regional correspondent, another one, Benjamin Adu.
Clad in red, both the old and the young took part in the demonstration involving communities that form New Edubiase. Tension is mounting over the inability of the kingmakers to select a chief after the demise of Nana Esiama Gueshia II. The late chief ruled for over 40 years, and his absence has affected the development of the community. Fear has gripped some residents of New Edubiase who have called for increased security presence as the demonstration is set to intensify next week. Chieftaincy-related conflicts in the Adanse area have persisted since the early 90s with occasional violent upsets. Residents, however, want development to thrive. We have someone who has been legitimately selected to be our chief. So, we do not understand why the Queen Mother is dragging her feet in installing him. The Queen Mother of the area, Nana Ekuachum, called for calm among members of the community, explaining the kingmakers are in the process to choose a candidate.